All right, so we're back with a second session of our base building. And one thing that I kind of started to appreciate more is taking time away from just doing the barbell lifts. Like, theoretically, it should, like, okay, let me start over. It's not that theoretically they're the same, because even though you're doing the same movement pattern, like a push or squat, the stress on the overall body is not the same. And so I think one thing I'll start incorporating in the future is having the dedicated time away from the barbells. And I think people have mentioned this where they talk about stress on the system, or like stress on your spine, like an axial load. And I'm not saying that I lift a heavy enough weight where it's a concern, but I could see where it is sort of necessary for people who do lift heavy weights, right? I am not at that stage, but it is nice every now and then to just, not have a bar on top of your back. So I think when you do a dedicated, just like a 4-week cycle where it's like just calisthenics and just, strength endurance training, yeah, I could see a strong value in it. I have come to appreciate where just using calisthenics is sort of underutilized, especially in my program, right? So is a push-up hard? No, not relatively speaking to a bench press or a barbell squat. Like these movements are not hard in and of itself. But it's a nice change of pace from just doing a 5 reps versus 10, 15, 20, 25 reps, right? And I think that strength trained across a wide variety is very important. And so while I am biased towards having a strong maximal strength, I do think that having exposure to different rep ranges is just as important. And the other thing that I have come to sort of changing my mind around is incorporating assistance exercise. So I kind of came from, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm going around in a full circle, right? Like when I first started lifting, it was, hey, like I kind of approached lifting like a bodybuilder. You have your chest day, your back day, your bicep day, etc. And, I tried all these different exercises that you could think of. And then over the years, I started going towards more powerlifting oriented style of training. So I first did 5-3-1, then I did West Side Barbell, the conjugate method. And I tried, a whole variety of programs out there. And I know that the past 4 months, I've done a lot of, hey, a starting strength where it's just like, hey, the barbells are sufficient and you don't need anything else. And I think I kind of came away, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that dogmatic sort of thinking. I do think that as a beginner, or majority of your training should be focused around barbells if your primary goal is performance. But I do think that assistance exercise has a strong place in your program. And my reasoning behind it is, one, it's more fun, right? I mean, yeah, like squats are cool, deadlifts are cool, bench, overhead, but let's be honest, we all want to have fun in the gym. You're going to do dumbbell curls or tricep push down, or that interesting machines for your legs or your back, cable rows. Like these are all different things that exist because maybe it hits your muscle in a different angle or whatnot. But I mean, just aside from all of that, it's just sometimes you just want to do different things, and I think that's important. I mean, nobody wants to do the same repetitive things day in and day out. Now, I do know some people who are like that, but most people are not like that. So number one is just variety for fun. The second reason I've kind of come to around is I think when you do assistance exercise, it allows you to. I don't know if this is the right way that I'm going to explain this, but it sort of trains your body in a variety of movements, right? So, as an example, let's say that you only did conventional deadlift, like that's the only hinge movement you ever did in your life. Yeah, I'm sure you'll get most benefits and it'll carry over in your life activity just as well. But if I would guess that if you took that same guy and if they did a variety of movements like a snatch deadlift or a power clean or Romanian deadlift or deficit deadlift or whatever, I would argue that the second person, even if they don't lift as much weight as the first guy, they would be more capable because they have exposure through a wide variety of positions and different angles. I could be wrong on that assessment, but that's just my thinking. I can only go based off my personal experience, and I've done almost every exercise that people can think of. And I would have to say that they have served me quite well in jiu-jitsu or just life, right? But I can't say that for certainty. That's just my personal experience. Now, if you were to take a carbon copy of me and let's say that the second Peter just did the conventional deadlift, would he be in a better position than I am? Maybe, maybe not, but I don't know. My gut feeling says no. And so when I take a look at that, I think that there is value in just having a different range of assistance exercise. And so I'm going to probably start incorporating it in different phases of training, right? So I'll talk more about like periodizing your training program like in the long term, but to keep it very simple, how I'm thinking it in my head is like, hey, you're going to have a certain block of training for, but let's just call it strength training. Then maybe the next block will be more hypertrophy focused, and then the next block might be more power focused or whatever, right? At the same time, I'm still going to be doing conditioning, so it is concurrent training, right? Where you're training all multiple abilities at the same time. And so I think it'll be fun, because one thing I do criticize starting strength for is it's not that it doesn't work, but it focuses primarily on one attribute over the other. And I think that if you were a true novice where you never touched a barbell, I would actually argue starting strength would be the way to go. But after 4 or 5 months, I would probably recommend most people try different things. Like just go in the gym and do your core lifts, but then do bodybuilding on the side and have fun, And there's a lot of things that I kind of come to realize that training shouldn't be. I think like training is we focus on things within the training that are not as important as we think they are. But that's like a whole different video and a whole different topic for another time. But overall, just appreciating it, and my back is healing pretty nice. So I think maybe next week I'll be going back to jiu-jitsu. But until then, just doing what I can. But appreciate you guys for watching, and just let me know what you guys think. Thanks, guys.